We really appreciate the opportunity to be able to come and teach you some of the things that we've been able to use to build multiple 7 and 8 figure businesses, not only for ourselves, but for our clients as well. The problem isn't what we're going to share with you today. It's actually with the things that we've had to leave out. My name's George. This is Anna. For those of you who don't know us or haven't met us before, Anna is a seasoned business owner and entrepreneur. She's been at the top of corporate sales and executive management for the better part of 2 decades, 9 and 10 figure businesses, so billion-dollar companies, for the better part of 2 decades. She's also built, scaled, and exited multiple 7 and 8 figure businesses. Largest, and when I say 8 figures, I'm talking about $20 million in 5 years, over 700 staff nationwide, and exited in just over 5 years. And the thing that I love most about Anna, I think our clients love most about Anna as well, is her relentless drive and passion to help business owners overcome the challenges and avoid the mistakes that she's made along the way.
Now, we definitely could not do what we do without George. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. He's spent over 2 decades in trade, in everything trade and construction. He's been involved in over $100 million worth of project management over his career, and he's owned and exited multiple businesses. We have a joke in Get Scaled. George is quite literally half man, half process. He's very, very systemized, and the same systems that took him from making efficient projects on job sites and trades, he now uses the same frameworks into building systems for multi-million-dollar businesses, and he does that for us and for our clients. So he's especially passionate about helping people systemize their businesses and getting them off the tools.
You could call it like hyper OCD or
yeah,
something.
Definitely.
Might call it that, but, it's all for the greater good. So why we started this business, growing up, so both of our families were in business. So I had my grandparents and Anna had her parents, and we both saw our elders growing businesses and getting kind of stuck in a job. They got to a point where they were earning a good living, but they were never actually able to grow it anywhere past that. The business always relied on them. Everything was always, like the buck ended with them. So when we started Get Scaled, we wanted to combine our collective experiences and build a team that builds businesses. So we hired a team of experts in every area, in every department, so they could execute for us. And during that time, we had a lot of people that were coming to us that were wanting some help with the growth of their business, and more specifically with strategy. So we started working one-on-one with business owners on strategy and implementation services. And that's where our team that we built for ourselves would get involved into other people's businesses and build out task management software, standard operating procedures, automate their back-end systems and software, and kind of do all the boring shit that nobody has time to do, like all the things that you need to do, and you know that needs to get done, but you don't know it's always the last thing on the list. And when you have a day off, you're like, I'm going to spend my time fucking writing SOPs. Like, it never happens, right? So that's what we set out. But during that time, what we found was people that we were working with, we were spending a lot of time with them, teaching them about what they needed to know and why they needed to know it. And that time was better spent getting more results in their business. I'm just going to share my screen now as well, so I can give you a little bit of a visual. So they had their goal in mind. But the problem is that the business education out there is really high level. Talks about Lamborghinis and helicopters, great holidays in the Maldives, and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't give a clear roadmap on how to actually get to the goal. And what was happening was the people that we're working with were more confused about what they needed to do to actually get to their goal. And what we're talking about is big rooms full of group coaching, life wheels, all that sort of stuff, and discussion on corporate strategies without any context or applicable implementation strategy. So what we did when we started Get Scaled was we actually wanted to build the ladder so that we could work with business owners one-on-one, step by step, to actually get to realize the plan that they wanted to go out and build. So because they were unclear and they didn't have the right education to begin with, we were spending a lot of time with them in our sessions, getting them up to speed. And so they asked us to put something together so that we could get all the education out of the way at the start. Once we got that out of the way, they were able to speed up their growth and actually rapid fire execute, because you weren't wondering why you were doing things. You were just able to do things and do things quickly. And this is the reason why we're able to 10x businesses in the matter of months and weeks, because we don't do fluffy bullshit education, and we work on real solutions to real problems that are going to make the difference in you're working on the things that are going to move the needle in your business. And so that's how we started the Self-Employed to Strategist program. And I'm really excited about sharing some of the things that we cover in that with you guys here today.
Put your hand up if you like being told what to do.
Anybody like Jose?
Jose.
I saw the hand go up. So just Jose.
Just Jose. Oh no, we've got Sam as well. Oh, well, 90% of the time, let's be honest, we became business owners because we don't like being told what to do. We like doing what we want to do, when we want to do it, in the time that we want to do it. But equally, most business owners start out in business without the end goal in mind, right? The outcome is that they make decisions and get results by chance rather than being planned and strategic. So because it was done by chance, it can't be replicated, it can't be systemized, and it can't be scaled because you have no idea what worked because there's no data, right? So the starting point of any strategy is to unpack what you are building and why. So for example, if you are a carpenter, an electrician, for all of the tradies in the room, if you're wanting to grow from like 3 guys to 8 guys, you want to take home 200, 250K, you want to be debt free, go on a few holidays a year, keep overheads low, finish at 3 and spend time with the kids.
All right, so we're talking about lifestyle businesses or lifestyle goals. Who's got a lifestyle goal for their business? Yeah? Jason? Alistair?
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I think everyone's lifestyle goal is to have some financial freedom, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm only doing this full time now. I run an entertainment business or company, and the idea was I would love to be off the tools or DJing by 2028. So if I can have DJs or entertainers that it's all set up that they go out on the weekends and I'm just running the whole thing, then that would be unreal.
Yeah, awesome. And so what would you be doing with your time?
I'd be overseeing and planning all the events. So it would be get to a point where it's more of a managerial or oversight type of role, and then growing the business to eventually Australia wide rather than just Melbourne. So the growth aspect rather than just focusing on the actual wedding that I have to play at or perform at.
Yeah, nice. I love that. And so what sort of a team did you want to have in place for you to be able to do that?
Well, ideally, you need an internal team to manage the actual gigs, because then all of the work is usually subcontracted out. This business isn't employee friendly, quote unquote. So you need to kind of have or build some type of recruitment system that allows for you or a team to manage subcontractors. And so I need a strong like admin/sales side of it all to kind of help kind of juggle the roles, if that makes sense, to kind of cater to what needs to be done, like to tick and flick, get this client's invoice through, get their wedding form through, get their songs ticked off, make sure it's passed on to the DJ. Has the DJ contacted them? Is the violinist going to show on time? Those type of things.
Awesome. And Jason, you had your hand up there as well. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I put it in the chat as well. You know, this business is definitely created for a better lifestyle for myself and the family. You know, 7 and 4-year-old, as well as most important to find crowded waves.
Yeah, 100%. So did you say you got a 7 and a 4-year-old?
7 and a 4-year-old. That's the main driving force, right? So
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thanks for your patience, guys.
Alrighty. So the next type of business owner that will come through, they will say that they have a very, very specific financial goal. A monetary goal. So it might be that it'll be, I want to make $20 million in 5 years, or I want to make $20 million by the time I'm 40. So anyone with this type of goal would be a financial goal. So put a 2 in the chat box if that is what is driving you right now. Yeah, nice. Just Luke? There we go. All right. Awesome. Ooh, a few number 2s. I love that. The last type of business owner is someone who wants to hit a particular objective. Right? So let's take us for example. We want to be the most trusted business consultancy firm in Australia. Brandon, for example, he wants to liberate business owners from their agencies. Or on a larger scale, if you look at Alex Hormozi, he broke the Guinness World Record in 72 hours for the most number of non-fiction books. He cracked his $100 million sales for his $100 million money launch in 72 hours. This is what we would call, so number 2 is a financial goal. Number 3 is a legacy or a vision goal. So If this is you, chuck a 3 in the box. Awesome. All right, let's have a chat about that. I want to open it up. Mix of all 3. Yeah, love it. All right, let's pick a few. Let's go with Jason. Jason, you've said you're 1, 2, and 3. Hit me. What are they?
Yeah, the lifestyle goal, as I said before, it's really important to me that my family kind of lives a cultured lifestyle. So creating international retreats allows us to travel and for them to potentially be homeschooled as well by my lovely wife, which will be great. The financial goal has always been the bottleneck, as I started a business where I felt like it wasn't very profitable at the start, but the passion was extremely high. But the reason why the passion was so high is that I really want to change the way that we learn how to surf. I feel like I've created an approach that makes it easier, and I want to continue to embellish and show that as much as I can. So equally is important. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. All right. What about let's talk to Gianni. Gianni, you've been pretty active in the chat. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, look, long story short, I've worked in financial services industries for a lot of the big banks, and not to boast, but money comes and goes, and it's easy to get high-paying jobs in that industry. But at the same time, I want to enjoy what I do, and I want to provide a meaningful benefit to the end customer. Working in those businesses, I just feel like a clog in the machine, and paraphrase, like there's a bunch of stooges in those industry, and they're just toxic people.
Same in our industry. And so the lifestyle part of it, what is it that is lifestyle about your goals?
Just working with people that I actually enjoy working with, and still being able to come home and not feel like I've had a shit day.
Yeah, fair enough. And it's really important because whenever you're striving to reach a particular goal, there's always problems and obstacles that are going to come and are going to get in the way of that. And so when you're looking at building out goals, it's really important that you know what we're working towards, because one of the biggest things that we see with business owners, especially the ones that we work with, is that whenever you hit a goal, you change it. It goes to the next goal. And the problem is you don't actually know what success looks like when you've hit a particular goal, right? So part of being a strategist is being able to look at the business holistically and figure out the business's potential. So once you've hit it, you know that's the end point. And it's either you that needs to change or the business model needs to change. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to George to talk about the problems that come along and how we can solve them.
So whenever you're striving to reach a goal, there are always going to be obstacles or problems that you're going to hit along the way. It's your job as a business owner to be able to navigate these things and identify them when they come up and diagnose them, kind of like a surgeon, right? So a surgeon or a doctor diagnosing a problem in your business. Because where you actually feel the pain, it might not actually be the root cause of where that problem's coming from. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run you through, we've broken them down into 3 categories, and I'm going to run you through them now. We've got problem number 1. If you're feeling any of these, you resonate with this. So your life is chaotic. You're working 50 to 100 hours a week or more hours than you want to be working. And you don't even know if those hours are effective. You don't even know if the time that you're spending is actually getting you the result or making a difference in your business. You're just busy being busy. Everything is kind of reactive. You're not planning for anything, and you're just going with the flow and dealing with crisis after crisis. You're feeling these symptoms because you have what we call an unpredictable business. So put a number 1 in the chat box if you feel like you've got an unpredictable business. Or give us a thumbs up, whatever. Just give me a reaction if you feel like this is what you're feeling. All right, so, and then the problem number 2 is we're fixing symptoms without knowing what the disease is. So you're constantly going from problem to problem. You're not knowing where they're coming from. You're just dealing with them as they come up. You're delegating the growth of your business. So that might mean you might be hiring staff members that are promising you the world. You might be engaging in contractors that do the same, or jumping on every new thing that promises to get you the growth that you're after, but you're not even sure of what that looks like. Like we were talking about before, the education space is like, oh, you have to be out of your business. You have to be on top of your business to be successful. But that might not be the case for you, because every business owner is different. Every journey is different. So you might be getting advice from someone you've engaged, like a business coach or a mentor, and you're waiting for them to tell you what to do, but you yourself don't know how to make the right decisions for your business. Another symptom of this is your business is growing, but your bank account isn't, which means your revenue's climbing, but the profit in your business, you're not retaining that profit in your business. If that's you, then you have an uninformed or an unclear business. So if you're feeling any of these, nod your head, give us a reaction, or put a number 2 in the chat box. All right. What do we got? No one's feeling any of these at the moment. That's good. All right, we've got a couple. Yeah. The next one we've got for you, problem number 3. So you don't know what you don't know. So you're not sure about the things that you need to do to actually get your business to the next level. You're basing all of your decisions on what feels or what you think is right or what feels right. You're stressed. It's impacting your family. So you might be working 5, 6, 7 days a week, whatever it is for you. Whatever time you're spending with your family, your mind is constantly on work. So you're always thinking about work. You're procrastinating on decisions. Everything you're doing is desperate. So you're hiring, you're trying to make sales, you're making sales that don't make sense for you to make. You're cutting costs, you're cutting prices, you're just getting whatever leads you can through the door, and everything kind of feels rushed. So if you're feeling any of these, you have what we call an emotional business. So these are the 3 typical kind of categories that we put our problems into. If you're scaling your business, then you're going to be feeling one of these 3 at some point in time.
And this is what we actually call being defined as self-employed. So if you're feeling these types of symptoms in your business, or as for you as a business owner, it's defined as self-employed. Here's a good one for you all. Raise your hand if you're currently spending money on ads to make more money. I'd be pretty concerned if you're in the With You community not running ads. Brandon would be very disappointed. Alrighty. Now, give me a love heart or any type of reaction if you want your money to keep growing and allow it to work without you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Here's the thing, guys. Your business does not grow by itself. And I've seen so many business owners dance around the solution for how to scale the business and stay in the same spot without moving the business forward, or realize the business's full potential. And a lot of business owners that we see have hit what we call the ceiling of what they can do themselves. They'd like to grow, but they don't know how, and they get stretched, not like an elastic band. All right, so this is you. What happens is you get stretched, your business gets stretched like an elastic band, like a rubber band, right? You focus on sales, you stretch the business. Here's what happens though, because you haven't fixed the back end, your back end falls apart. And then what happens? Your focus comes back to fix the back end, and then the sales dry out because you're not focused on the front end again. So what happens is, for years and years and years, people just keep doing this. They just keep going into the rubber band effect, what we call the rubber band effect, right? Now, to build a scalable business, what actually has to happen is you need to unlock the back end. You need to unlock what's holding the business back so that this can catch up to the front and you can keep moving forward, right? Kind of like a caterpillar. Now, the business grows in 2 ways. How many? 2. Alrighty. This is growth driving and growth enabling. The 3 pillars of growth driving is marketing, leads, and sales. The 3 pillars of growth driving, and the reason that you're in the With You community is that you're wanting to focus on marketing, leads, and sales. Think of this like all the sexy stuff in business, right? There's all the razzle dazzle. It brings money through the door. That's what you're doing in the With You program. You're getting people attracted to the business and you're wanting to buy. What's going to happen though is when you get to a point of too much demand for your products or services, most people then crawl into a ball and cry because now you're working 60 to 100 hours a week. You have no idea what to do because the back end of the business has been overlooked and you're playing catch up, right? But the most overlooked functions are the focuses that are actually going to help you scale, right? And this is where the growth enabling part of the business comes in. And actually, this is what Get Scaled focuses on. So what I want you to do is think of us like the responsible parent, right? We do all the boring stuff, the things that, we want to make sure that you know what you want to be when you grow up, that you budget correctly, that your business is behaving responsibly and you're teaching it to be well behaved. It's not as sexy, but it's just as important, right? So it's systems, strategy, and people. These are all the things that we focus on, okay? So when we're looking at when we work with our helping people to move from self-employed to strategists, it's all about building the business plan, the roadmap, and the tracking to make sure we split test. So with your marketing at the moment, you're learning how to split test landing pages, ads, all of that sort of stuff. We help you look at split testing every other part of the business, right? So that you get data. So that is identifying what you do so well without even thinking and turning it into a machine. So it becomes like a production line. And from that, We then identify who's going to be pulling the levers on each part of that machine so that it ultimately builds the production line so that you don't have to do it yourself and until you hit your version of success, whatever the goal that we set out with you or whatever goal you want to achieve. Does that make sense? It's really important that in order to work out how to scale, we need to demonstrate exactly how everybody starts their business journey, right? So George is going to take you through that. We've got a little bit of a presentation for you.
All right. So everybody gets into business because they want to be their own boss. They want to work their own hours. They want to do their own thing. And like we said before, we don't like being told what to do. So we're happy to put up with the pain of it all, the long hours, the long days, the sleepless nights, and all the stress of paying everybody's bills and wages on time. The analogy that we've got for you today is think of it like going fishing. I'm going to walk you through the stages, okay? So when you start your business, you're on your own and you're going out, get some customers, and it's basically an exchange of time for money. You got low overheads and you're really excited because the money you're making, it's not costing you anything to make that money. Customers are coming to you, you're servicing them, and you're getting advice from people that are in your industry or your dad, your uncle, your auntie, whatever it is that might have run a business before, and you're kind of making up your own way. You're getting your own way through business. But the thing is, most of those people that you're getting advice from, they're not at the stage of business where you see your end goal being. The great thing is, though, is that you're doing it all on your own and you're learning a lot. This is what we call the fuck around and find out stage. So you can see it on the screen, the FAFO stage. And what happens is you're in this stage until you get to the realization where you're like, all right, this has actually got legs. I can do this. And that's when you want to get to the next stage. So write in the chat box for me, FAFO, if this is where you're at or if this resonates with you. All right, and what happens next, there's always going to be a level of fuck around and find out in business, all right? Like there's nobody that doesn't, we don't actually ever grow out of that. It's just we change the way we go about it, all right? So what happens is the next stage, you've validated the idea and now it's time to make an investment. So instead of taking money out of the business, instead of it all being like, great, I'm spending my time and I'm taking all this money out, I'm making a great profit, you're now putting money back in so that you can be more effective and get better results for the time that you're spending. Now, this might be in the way of tools, equipment, landing page, running ads, whatever it is for you, but basically it's so you can get more customers through the door at this stage. Like old mate here who's gone and bought himself a tinny, he's not restricted by the fish coming past the pier anymore. He's actually bought himself a vessel, so that would be word of mouth, the people that are coming to you. You're building a vessel that can get you to the right spots to catch the right fish. Okay, or get the right customers through the door. Now you take your boat out, you start getting a feel for your industry, how things work, how you're going to navigate problems, and ultimately how to bring more money through the door. Until you get to the next stage where you're like, all right, enough of this now. I know I have a good business. I know I can make money. I know my customers love what I do and I need to go all in. I need to go build a bigger business. All right. So write validation for me in the chat box if this is where you're at, if this resonates with you. Once we get past that, now this is where things start actually getting serious. Okay. So we're making a bigger investment where we need to get better equipment. We need to take a much more targeted approach. Like you can see on the screen here, this boat's got a few people in it. We're hiring some team members. This is going to take a lot more risk though than what you had before because you're not only responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your team members and you're going out taking a lot more risk. You're spending a lot more money on finding customers as well. Then you fuck around and find out stage, customers will come into you. Now you've got more mouths to feed. Now you actually have to go out and spend more money to acquire more business. And this is where you need to upskill because your business has changed a lot since when you started. You're a business owner, but you might not exactly feel like one because the top end of this stage, you might feel like you've created a prison of your own making. Now, just like we can see here on the boat, the captain's within arm's reach of everybody. And whenever there's a problem, everyone's always going to look to him to solve the problem. So whenever you're involved in every area of your business, everyone's always going to come to you to get the answers for the problems that they have rather than being autonomous at this stage in business. And the major problem with this stage in business is that nobody knows how to do your job. And the business needs more of your time than ever, and it can't survive without you. So if you take yourself out, then the business can't survive more than 2, 3, 4 weeks without some crisis happening or without it needing your input. So you can't stay here forever. And the next stage is the big one. So if you're here, if you're at this stage in business, write investment for me. Johnny's already put it in there. Thank you, mate. Jose, you need to bounce. That's okay, man. Right. So if you're at this stage in business, write investment for me in the chat box. Right, Luke, we've got Ascend Financial, Martin, James, great. So you'll be feeling, do these pain points resonate with you, what I'm talking about? Yeah, cool. All right. So the next stage is the big one. This is where the big shift comes in. You've never been on a boat, you've never run a business of this size before. You know what you need to do, but you're still using a fuck around and find out strategy because that's what got you in the first place. But that strategy is not going to help you when you're trying to run a monster like this. What you need to realize is that the type of person that runs this type of business needs to know how to run a commercial establishment. Now, there's a lot more risk in running this size of business. It's a lot more expensive to run. It needs a specialist team in each department to run each department because you can't keep your eye on everything anymore. You don't have your finger on the pulse in every area. And you need a way to keep your eye on everything without being physically involved, because your most important job in this type of business is strategy and navigation. Now, if you haven't picked up what I'm putting down yet, the boat is your business, fish is money, and you're the captain in charge. So write the word scale in the chat box if this is where you're at, or if you think you're ready for this stage. Alistair, Reese, I have 2 boys in utes, run the 3rd ute, have 2 girls in the office running high expense ads, keep the leads coming in, recently bought on. Yeah, awesome, mate. That's fantastic. How long have you been in business for, Reese?
This is my 2nd year in business.
2nd year.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And if you don't mind sharing, what's your monthly turnover?
At the moment, we're bringing in about 15K a week, about to go into about 20K a week. Just bought the 3rd ute yesterday, putting toolboxes on it and pumps, sending it out. So yeah, each guy usually brings in about 7K a week.
Yeah.
And then when we're also pushing up sales whilst on site, usually brings in an extra maybe $2,000 a week on average in up sales if we can get them. I've got one guy who does it really well and one guy who's terrible.
Okay. So do you have any training in place to be able to train people, or are you doing all the training yourself?
I do the training myself, but I've got a system. I've got a training program that I run, and I'm now passing that on to the boys to do it. So I've got like a checklist. Takes about 2 weeks, and I'm also setting up induction videos as well.
Yeah, awesome. So these are all the things that you're going to have to start focusing on for every area of the business, because you've grown rapidly. You got from startup to, what did you say, 60K a month at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're looking to go to 80K a month within the next period of time?
Yeah. My biggest challenge at the moment is what I did was I bought the ute fully outright because pest control is a seasonal business. So I'm a bit worried about the cash flow limitations through the winter period. Okay. So I'm trying to keep my cash flow expenses minimal throughout that period of time. So every time we seem to make money, we just keep reinvesting. And it's like we had 20 grand in the bank last week, 25 grand. Then I've gone and spent 14,000 on a ute. Then I've got to spend 6,000 on a pump. So that brings our cash flow all the way back down. But it's a risk that if I was to put the ute on finance or whatever, having that ongoing, plus the wages, plus super, plus eye care, it all gets a bit much and stresses me out a bit. So that's why I'm just like, I'm not sure if I'm making the right decisions. I'm more taking a risk, knowing that I can probably fill the books and make that amount of money prior to winter arriving.
Yeah. Do you run your business off any kind of a budget, or is it like most trades, you're paying everything up front, right? So you don't want to have any debt. You don't want to put things on payment plans, which is fair enough. And most people kind of start that way, right? But as far as your expenses and your budgeting goes, do you know what needs to go out every month, or is it kind of like, do you do any sort of projections?
Yeah, we do. But see, the projections change at the moment very rapidly because 3 months ago, my expenses were at about $4,000 a week. Now they're probably at about 6 to 8 grand a week because we've gone from one person, which was me 8 months ago, to 5 people in the business now. So every month is changing. Like 6 months ago, I bought another business out, took on their $135,000 a year. Then I started employing. Then I bought another ute. Then I employed again. Then I employed girls in the office. Then I've gone and set up phones in the office with recordings. Then I've gone and spent $5,500 or whatever it was on the With You program. Went and spent another $5,500 on the sales program with Peter Lakovich that starts this week or whatever. then I'll probably end up spending another whatever this is going to cost. But just to get educated, so obviously I don't feel like there's a price you can put on education, especially if it's going to carry me through the struggle period. So as I'm saying, I'm just taking every day as it comes and whatever opportunities come up. So I don't really have expenses right now until I feel like once we slow down and then we can sort of balance out the expenses. But I feel like at the moment stuff's coming in and I'm sort of just paying it and just going with it.
So you're using a fuck around and find out strategy, but you're ready to scale.
Yes.
So yeah, you've been using a fuck around and find out strategy, and you're kind of inching along, but you're not projecting forward far enough to be able to, I guess, account for all of these things that could possibly come up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to start thinking, and this is a really good example. I'm really happy that you shared this, so thank you. But what we want to start doing is planning out and saying, okay, well, for the next 3 months, because business strategy never stops, guys, right? The quicker you grow, the quicker you need to re-strategize, the quicker you need to plan and project forward for the next quarter, 6 months, whatever it is. That's all going to depend on how quickly you want to hit your goals and hire more team members, bring in more revenue. Like Brandon says, aggressively problem solve, right? So where Reese is at the moment, he's like, all right, I know that I've got a slow period coming up. What we would want to focus on is how do we get more business in through the door for that slow period? Like, I want you to be consistent throughout the whole year. Now, is your business mostly B2C, like you're dealing directly with the consumer, or are you doing any B2B relationships as well?
Well, we've got 2 sections. So we've just expanded into Western Sydney, where Wollongong based, and we've been aggressively targeting B2B, so commercial kitchens, cafes, restaurants, but we're trying to close higher ticket sales, which are more like, we've been getting a lot of preschools, which are like 2 times a year.
Yeah,
so the problem is a lot of people just get pest control once a year, which is in the resi market, but I'm trying to pivot to the B2B and also getting a lot of real estates in the door lately, which has been good. But as to understand how to keep winning the business is the hard part, or to how to keep, like we've created, so this was another small little strategy I used. I created our partners page on our website. So when I do cold emails, I put a link to our partners and it's got all the real estates, all the preschools that we work with, and try to use that as a bit more social proof to close more cafes and restaurants. But really, all we've been doing is just a lot of cold outreach, or I just go in there and have a couple of coffees there. Then I sort of present them with an opportunity saying, look, why don't you let us do your next service for pest control for 50% of your current price? Show me your invoice. We'll do it for 50% of the current price and we'll show you what we can deliver for you. And I know like 9 times out of 10, they will go for it if we get in the door that way, because the way we write our reports afterwards and our comments and how we deliver it for the health inspector is like, it looks a lot more presentable than the old school invoices that the other pest controllers do.
If you can, just because I'm mindful of time and people needing to jump off because we only scheduled this for 2, hang back at the end of this race and let's have a further chat about it. Is that cool?
Yeah, good.
To frame it up for everybody else in the room, there is, Reese, what you're talking about is a corporate sales strategy, right? So coming from some, like my background is commercial cleaning. So meta ads don't work for people for commercial cleaning like me. The old school way of picking up the phone and ringing people and doing networking through people that you know and people that you've done work for is generally going to yield a fantastic result for you, right?
Yep.
And that's generally when you negotiate with businesses like that, you can space it out into your dead period as well. These are the types of strategies that we would look at for your business specifically in your dead period to try and work out how to fix that hole that you've got so the money's consistent.
Yeah. I'll discuss it further in with you. I've got a couple of ideas, but that's what I wanted to talk to you about, but we'll hang back at the end.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so we're going through FAFO, validation, investment, and scale. Okay, they're kind of the 4 stages that we're talking about. All right, so what ends up happening is you're stretching your knowledge from your fuck around and find out stage, and you're trying to become a strategist, but you know the capabilities of your business and you know what you're good at. You might even have some team members that pull their weight and excel when you need them to, but you're kind of stuck in neurosis. All right, you're here, okay, and then you take a step out and you're wanting to start growing your business. And what ends up happening is, so at this stage, you might start making an investment. So you might start spending some money on marketing or staff, VA, whatever that is. But what ends up happening during this stage is you're spending more time here. You're spending more time here. And your back end, there's a big hole here, right? It hasn't been bolstered to keep up with you not doing all the things operationally that you were doing before. So then because you're here, you start spending more money as well because you're investing in the business. But the business isn't bringing in as much money as it was before. So you got less money coming in and more money going out. And now you're losing your time as well because all of your time is going here too. Okay? So more time here, less time in the small boat, right? And so you're overcommitted. And so what you're feeling is that you haven't got any results and you might start feeling like you're failing. Right. And what ends up happening is every time you do this, you kind of get closer and closer, you're inching further out, but you keep getting snapped back to that same position. Is this resonating with anybody at the moment? Does this resonate with you? Yeah. Yeah. So I love a bit of an analogy and I love a bit of a story, as you can probably tell already. So what I'm going to talk to you, welcome to business ownership.
Get it? Get it? The business ownership.
This is the business ownership, guys. You are the captain, and this is how things are supposed to be. You're the strategist that's in charge of the vision and the direction. You're driving to the destination. You're steering the business towards the goal. You're looking out for any potential problems along the way so that you can focus your attention on fixing them before they become major issues. Now, in a ship analogy, you'll have a dashboard in front of you that'll tell you everything that's going on with the boat. So you'll have the wind, the weather, the waves, the conditions, so that you can make quick decisions and stay on course so that that ship can reach its destination. Now, how we do that in business, this translates to what we call the core 8, all right? What I've got here is kind of like an organizational chart layout, right? And you can guess who's in charge of the strategy, because I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to be your admin person or whoever's on the ground, right? So you're going to be in charge of strategy, and the other 7 functions underneath it are as follows. You've got sales, branding, marketing, operations, HR, finance, and admin. But this is what ends up happening. You've got all of these departments that you're responsible for, and you need a plan for when the problems come up in these departments. But what happens is the ship's always under attack. You get the ATO that rocks up with their attack vessel, and they're like, fuck you, pay me $30,000 this quarter. And so they start attacking your ship, and it blows a hole in your ship. And now your ship's leaking, and you're not here anymore, you're not driving the ship forward. So now you've got a hole in the ship. So you've left your station, you're down plugging your hole. But before you get back up, because you're like, oh, it'll only take me an hour, I can do it better than everybody else, so I'm going to do it myself. So what happens while you're down there, one of your employees puts in a complaint about you using the wrong pronouns, and so then Fair Work comes along and blows another hole in your boat. Now your ship's leaking again, okay? And now you need to engage a lawyer. So now you've got a legal team, and that's another hole. So now you're spending more time on legals, finding a lawyer to help you navigate the fucking Bermuda Triangle to figure out what you can and can't or should and shouldn't do to make sure that, James, have I been following you? No, I haven't, mate. To make sure you know what you should and shouldn't do. So all this time, you're supposed to be driving the ship. You're supposed to be following the direction, making sure that everyone gets home safely. But then all of a sudden, you get customer service. Customer service blows off. You get a complaint at 4:32 in the morning from an unhappy customer threatening you to take you to consumer affairs, which triggers another problem, all right? And so on and so forth. So does this sound familiar to anybody? Give me a thumbs up if it sounds familiar. Yeah, right? And so you've been down there for so long, and then you're like, fuck, okay, I need to go check the GPS. And when you get back up here, right? When you get back up here, you realize you're like 743 miles off course, and it's a wonder how you haven't hit an iceberg yet, and you need to put all of your time, effort, and energy into getting things back on track while you're dealing with a leaky ship. It's not supposed to be like this, nor does it have to be like this. Now, the one thing that we work on, the major philosophy we work on at Get Scaled, is that your business is always going to be under attack, guys. These problems aren't going to go away. No matter how much you grow, no matter what level you get at, you are always going to have to deal with these problems. And unfortunately, us as the business owners, the buck ends with us. So the worst problems and the hardest problems to solve in the business, they're always going to come to us. So we have to get used to the fact that who has to upskill and make sure that you know that these problems are coming. You need to project for these problems and make sure that you have a plan for when they come up. Okay, does this make sense?
I always laugh at this analogy. It makes me laugh because it's so fucking true. Alrighty. Now, some of you, I hope, would be saying all of this is fucking great in theory, and thanks for the information, but put your hand up if you actually want to put some of this into practice. Who wants to actually get into an exercise right now for your business that can actually help you move from self-employed to strategist? Give me a thumbs up. I love Heart React. Anything. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Using these tools and using our tools, we've been able to 10x businesses in the matter of weeks and months, because sometimes the strategy is right in front of your face, and it really comes down to being able to release time and be able to get you into the strategic mindset, right? So what we're going to do is a little exercise. Now, you would have remembered at the start of the webinar, George mentioned you would have received a handout in your emails. So let's get into the problem-solving mode of the business. So what we want to do is break up with the business. Have you noticed whenever you've started out a relationship, it could be a friendship, a contractor, a date, everything starts out fucking awesome. You go, oh my God, I love this person. They're awesome. We're so aligned in values. Everything's amazing. I've got the rose-colored glasses on. I think they're the best thing since sliced bread. And then when you reevaluate the relationship after years, when you break up, you look back on that relationship and you're like, fuck, man, there was so many red flags that I ignored. They didn't communicate well. There was a problem in what the values were, and I ignored it, right? If you can resonate with that, what we need to do is we need to break up with the business, with your business, okay? You need to be able to look at your business objectively. We can't be in love with it. We have to be able to look objectively at the business so that we can make strategic decisions and look at the holes in the business for what they are. So it is really important that right now we're going to be incredibly systematic about it. So if you can pull up your task list, you would have received this particular handout. Anyone who doesn't have it, can you please just put a note down, and then our team will send it out to you directly. So the first thing that we want to do is actually start going through this list, because in order to scale, you need a team. Now, it can be employees, it can be in-house, but it can also be fractional, which means it relates to a small part of something. In other words, a team of people that come in for a purpose. That can be contractors, consultants, or businesses that you engage to activate a wider plan, right? But the point is, you can't do it alone. So let's go through. If you open your worksheet for the next couple of minutes, I want you to tick all the tasks that you currently do in your business, every single one. So go through, start ticking them all. So if you're in admin, are you the person that keeps files organized? Are you the person that handles all the emails? Are you the person that handles the customer inquiries and complaints? You schedule the jobs, you prepare all your admin reports. Under marketing, well, if you're in the With You program, most of you would be doing that yourself. So you should be managing your social media. You'd be updating your landing pages or company websites. Check how well your ads are doing. I would hope that you're doing that. You would be writing blogs if that's relevant for your business, or sending marketing emails. I want you to go through all of the list. Now, at the end, once you've done that, count how many that you do and put this number here, however many you do. So if you can count them, and once you've got that, please put it in the chat box, whatever your number is, for how many things you do in the business. If anyone's super speedy, you can feel free to chuck it up. So under sales, are you the person that finds new sales? Are you the person that keeps the relationships with the customers? Who wants to do one with me? Do you look at the market trends? Do you adjust the business plans? All I've done on the page is I've just ticked the boxes as an example of what people are doing. So have you got the sheet with you? Yeah, cool. All right. So have you ticked all the tasks that you've done for your business? Yeah, great. Awesome. What's the number? Oh, love this. What's your revenue, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, okay. So would it be fair to say that you got fuck all time? That you're working a lot of hours in the week? This is something that we actually want to change, because you would be at the stage where what George was talking about before, where you would be in the investment stage, right? So you're trying to step out and scale the business, but the back end isn't supporting you to do that. So what's happening to you is you're just being stretched. Your time is just being stretched. We need to change that, right? And this is the first step to do that, right? So this is going to be really, really relevant to you, actually, okay? All right, so once we've got that, can I just get people to just put your total number that you've in the box? 29, great. There's 77 in total. So let's have a look. Chris, that's all of them, I guess. Love that. All righty, you got to see these funny hands. All right, so what we want to do is on the next page, what we want to do is compartmentalize these tasks, right? So I don't want you to go through every single task and put it in this box. What we want to do is put just the heading, so just the departments, right? We're going to split them out into 4 different categories. The first category, so box number 1, put the number 1, 2, 3, 4 in the boxes to match the screen. Box number 1, the things you enjoy doing and the things that you do well. So Greg, unmute yourself. Of the tasks that you've ticked, what are the things you love? What's the things that you enjoy?
I actually enjoy doing the sales and marketing side of things more than anything.
Are you good at it?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Awesome. So what you would do is put that into the 1. So you put sales. So for Greg, in Greg's case, it'd be sales. And what is the other part of the business that you enjoy? Is it director? You like doing the director tasks? You like doing the operations
Yeah,
tasks?
definitely. Yeah, I like the director of operations, management side of things. I've done the, I'm in a gym, so I've done all the coaching and day-to-day stuff and all the delivering for years. So I'm starting to get beyond that. I want to focus on actually being able to lead the team, grow the team.
Love that. So operations tasks where you're focused on the delivery, for example, that might go into your box number 2. So which is the things you don't enjoy doing as much anymore, but you're still very good at it, right? So that would go into your box number 2. It might be operations, right?
Yep.
Is that where it would go?
Yes, yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
All right. So we put operations there.
Okay. Now we go into box number 3. The things you enjoy doing or the things you don't do well or you want to learn, right? So that's your box number 3. So out of all of these tasks, Greg, which are the ones that you would say you'd probably want to learn more about?
Yeah, the financial things is probably a big one. I enjoy it, but yeah, obviously a lot of it's new to me, doing payroll and all those sorts of things.
Yep.
Taxes.
Yep. What else? What's the other thing that you'd want to learn out of that list?
Obviously the marketing was a big one, hence why we joined with you in the last 2 months. But yeah, enjoying that and learning that at the moment. But yeah, getting a handle on the financials, is being more literate there, I think would help us a lot.
Yeah, awesome. And now I'm just going to add to yours. A lot of people put director in number 3, right? It's something they want to get better at. Something that they want to learn more, right? Now, what's the things you hate? You don't enjoy doing it. You hate doing it. Sorry, you don't enjoy doing it and you're not good at it. Number 4. Give me an example of something that you do that you hate.
Yeah, probably just the customer service stuff, just all the little day-to-day stuff, following up existing clients and things and putting through little cash sales and all the stuff that just eat time, but obviously not high value tasks that I still got to do.
Yep.
All
right.
Just because we don't have a team there yet.
Following up the quotes, following up the mundane admin day-to-day stuff.
Yep.
Okay, great. What we want to do is look at the box number 4, right? So box number 4 is the things you don't enjoy doing and the things you don't do well. Now, let me ask you a question, right? Just do a thumbs up for me. If I was to just make you do admin, so that is the customer service part, the thing that you hate the most in the world, if I was to make that your life for the next year and that's all you were doing all day, every day, would you be a happy chappy? No. Typically happens when people don't enjoy doing the things that are in their box number 4, they end up delaying them, procrastinating them, and they don't actually get what they need out of it, right? So in box number 1, guys, in box number 1, what we want to do is call that. So these are the things that you need to keep doing, and it's what makes you happy, right? These are the things that make you happy. So we want to keep doing them. Box number 2 is the things that we need to train. It's also the things that make us very, very, very special. Makes what makes us as people special and our businesses special. Whatever are in these tasks is like your genius. It's what makes your business amazing, right? So what we want to do is be able to systemize that or train that through the business to somebody else, right? Because you're amazing at it. Does that make sense? Yep. Box number 3 is the things that we want to upskill in. It's the things that we want to learn and the things that we want to upskill in, right? So when you're looking for mentors or you're looking for people that are consultants or anything like that are going to help you in your business, these are the areas that you want to get assistance with the most, right? Number 4 is what we call our zone of pain, right? And this is generally the things that we want to get rid of, we need to delete or we need to hire. So when you're looking at getting your time back, we start with everything in your box number 4, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Can I get a thumbs up? Yeah, awesome. If you guys can hear me, can you please put in the box the things that are in your number 4 box? So the things you don't enjoy doing and the things you don't do well is the things that we need to delete, we need to delegate, and we need to hire for, right? Because the more that you get rid of the things that this is the starting point, right? So if you're looking at wanting to move into your zone of happiness, which is your box 1, everything that's in your box 4 is the first thing that you need to get rid of. In the chat box, just put down what is in your box 4. Admin Reese, that's in your box 4. And Luke? Yeah, wow. Okay, good. Love that. So, and you will see that if you were to get rid of all of that, Luke, I'll pick on you for a minute if that's all right. Let's assume that I was to give you sales, right? I'm assuming you like sales, right?
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So if I was to give you sales all day, every day, high level, over the top business and just taking money from people and doing sales, would you enjoy that? Would that be a good life for you?
Pretty good, yeah.
Exactly. And so this is how we start inching towards getting to our to the business and the lifestyle that we're looking for, right? We've got to start with actually dissecting the business. The next stage is to look at how we become a strategist. Let's recap. We start with being self-employed. Let's recap. We're unpredictable, we're uninformed, or we're emotional. And the symptoms of that is that we have a lot of chaos. We are working between 50 and 100 hours a week, and we're reactive. In an uninformed business, we're focusing on fixing symptoms rather than diagnosing the disease. We are delegating the growth of our business to people that are advising or mentoring rather than actually knowing inherently what we need to do, right? And the last one is your business growth is going up, but your bank account isn't going with it. It's just revenue only, not profit. Make sense? The next thing is emotional. We don't know what we don't know. We're desperate. We're making desperate decisions on things. So we're waiting for things to completely blow up, and then we're making a decision based on that. We're doing decisions based on what we think and what we feel, rather than making things completely driven by data, right? So we're making decisions based on what we think and what we feel. We're highly stressed all the time. And even when we're not working, we're thinking about work, right? We're procrastinating on decisions. So we're leaving decisions to the last minute because we're so overwhelmed and everything is very rushed, right? Now, to be a strategist, what the alternative to that is that the business can be very predictable. It can be super predictable, right? It can be very informed and it's data driven. What we specialize in is giving you the knowledge and the education to be able to do this yourself, right? I spent many, many, many years learning corporate strategy from working in corporate. I went and learned everything through being a general manager, being an executive manager, running corporate sales. I've signed over $30 million in contracts over my career. And so by doing all of these things, these are things that have taken 15 years to learn, right? And so what we decided is we wanted to give this knowledge and knock it all out in 3 days, right? So what we've been able to go through in this session, in this webinar, is what's in the predictable section. So that's the core 8 to give back your choice so that you can start being in control of the business. And instead of making decisions reactively, we're making decisions proactively. So by getting all of our information onto a spreadsheet, we can forecast 6 months ahead, 12 months ahead and say, shit, we're going to hit a problem in October. Let's work on that now, right? That's what being a strategist is. So the next part on the rest of our program is, and unfortunately it's not time that we've been able to get through today, but it's all about having our 5 solution levers, which is how to build a business model. That's the machine, the production line that we were talking about, being very strategic about every stage in your money model, in your business model. Being completely in control doesn't mean no stress, guys. I want to make it really clear. It doesn't mean no stress. What it means is that you have tools in your toolkit to know what you need to do to fix it. You can be solo focused on the goal, on the problem, until you crack that problem. Finally, more money, not just more revenue, but more profit, because you're in control of what is happening with the money. And finally, being a data-driven business. So that is having a business plan, building a business plan, being completely focused and knowing exactly what you need to do. You're making decisions based on fact. It's not any emotion attached to it at all, and dealing exclusively with budgets. So Reese, for you, for example, the strategy that would be to put everything into the spreadsheet and start mapping out the income and how we're going to build that. Make sense? Now, how we do that, which is the whole essence of SES, self-employed to strategist. The 3 pillars of Get Set Go are strategy, education, and systems. And I'm going to leave that with George.
Because what we see every day with business owners is they're unclear of their next move, and they're pulling their hair out, they're stressed out, and they're not sure exactly how to, remember the cloud that I showed you at the start of the presentation with the ladder? They're not sure exactly what the moves are to get to that end goal. And so that's why we created pillar number 1, which is that we only use a tailored strategy so that you'll feel confident about the decisions that you're going to make to actually go out and hit your goals. And then what we're being told by most of the business owners that we work with was, as I mentioned before, business education is really high level and really fluffy. So we went on a mission to be able to create something that gives the right education for the right stage in business. We talked a lot about different stages in business, and we want to make sure that depending on what stage everybody's at, that we're providing the right information and giving them the right strategy and the right perspective so that they can make decisions on their own and they can feel more confident about the moves that they need to make to grow their business. And so then our 3rd pillar being systems, because it's all well and good to have strategy and education. If you don't have systems to tie it all together, then you're going to be the one stuck doing everything, all the day-to-day, doing all the shit that you hate doing, the things that you've done for years, and you're always going to be running that rat race, like that hamster on the wheel, right? So that sums up our 3 pillars and the way that holistically see business owners' growth end to end. If you're anywhere between 100K up to 20 million, that's kind of the bandwidth that we work with, so that we can make sure that we map out what it looks like from the get-go, and we map out the roadmap of the exact steps that you need to take to actually hit and obtain your goals. Now, last webinar that we did, we were asked, what does it look like when you work with us? And I promised you there would be no sales pitch, but I'm just going to run you through really quickly 30 seconds of what you actually get in the program, so you're aware of it. So when we're talking about strategy, education, and systems, the way that we work is the first thing that you get with us in the program is we do a 30 to 40 page business plan. Now, this is a comprehensive business plan tailored to you and your business. It's what stage you're at, what are the things that have gotten you to, so we take into account what are the things that you've done really well and what's gotten you to where you are, because you've done some really good things, obviously, to get the growth that you've already gotten. And so we can amplify that and build out the plan for the roadmap for the next 12 months so that you can actually hit your goals. And then we tie that in with our 3-day masterclass accelerator. And over 3 days, we do it over a weekend as well, so you don't have to take 3 days out of your work week. So on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we run them in Melbourne and in Sydney. At the moment, we'll be expanding to Perth later on in the year. But we get that business plan, work with up to 20 business owners at a time in the room, and we keep it to 20 so that Anna and I can sit down with each and every person. So I don't know if I mentioned before, but Anna and I do all the business plan intakes. So you'll sit with us one-on-one, we'll get an understanding of your business, and then we'll go off and prepare that plan for you. And then in the masterclass, well, we've already done the business plan. We've got an idea of where you're headed and where you want to go and how we're going to get you there. And so the masterclass is really all about pulling that plan apart and workshopping every area of it so we can build the actionable steps for the next 12 months. And then after that, you kind of got 2 different roads you go down. As part of the program, you get 6-month membership with school, exactly like the way Brandon works, It's kind of like from the day that you attend the masterclass, you get 6 months after that, but you get onboarded straight away so you can start getting help straight away. Or for business owners kind of turning over that 500K plus, 3 to 500K plus, depending on where you're at, we have implementation services, which is what we spoke to you about earlier, where our team gets into your business and builds out systems, processes, automates stuff for you, just kind of makes your life a whole lot easier. So that's the overview, just to give you an idea of how we work. If you do want to find out more, chuck it in the chat box, or one of our team members can give you, because I will actually give you a buzz to see what it looks like and book you in for a growth strategy session. And what we're doing with everybody on the call, so because you've registered, if you are interested in a session, Zyla will give you a buzz, and Luke, no worries, we'll get you that sorted for you straight away. We'll book you in with one of our growth strategists, and they're going to do a free strategy session for you. So they're going to pull apart your business at a high level. It goes for about an hour. We'll basically uncover what are the things that you're struggling with at the moment, what's the direction you want to take, what are your goals for the next 12 months, and then so that way they can provide some recommendations on the call on how you can get there. And then if it makes sense, then we can walk you through what it looks like when you work with us as well. That's the conclusion of the presentation, guys. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody who stayed all the way till the end. I hope you got out as much as we planned or we tried to deliver. I know we had a few fucking difficulties along the way, technical difficulties, which has been a pain in the ass. So I really want to fucking thank you for your patience throughout all of that. We're going to open the floor to anybody that has any questions for us. If you want to workshop anything, we're more than happy. Otherwise, that's the end of the presentation.
Feel free to unmute or just raise your hand if you want to go through anything or have any questions. Yeah, go.
We'll kick off with Reese. Anybody else who's got any questions, just put your hand up or put a Q in the chat box, and we'll get a list going.
Reese.
All right, guys. I want to see if I could get some advice on getting into contract sort of stuff. Like, that's the sort of route I want to go down. I want to start slamming like that B2B commercial, large commercial. I've actually recently picked up 3 large hotels in Wollongong, the Sage Hotel, Adina Apartments, and the Mantra in Wollongong.
Awesome.
Now, what I was trying to do is there was a guy that subcontracted me onto Adina Apartments called Oracle from Sydney, and he has like the contracts with a core group, and that's the sort of level I want to be at.
Oracle is the property management system. They run all the software for how the hotels run.
Yeah.
So really good contact to have, that one.
Yeah, so they subbed me out onto Adina Apartments, but then Adina have been now contacting me personally.
Yeah, okay. Do they have a problem with that?
Well, Oracle hasn't been able to get out to service their apartments for like the issues they've been having, which has been reactive issues.
Yeah.
So that sort of got me a foot in the door.
Now, you do pest control, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So now I'm trying to figure out how to utilize these sort of leads to try to maybe push myself into like that higher bracket, into like maybe getting into a core group, or I don't know, at least trying to get some sort of proposal in there somehow, some way.
I'm laughing because like that's my whole background. So I built the $20 million business that George was talking about is all back of house operations for hotels. So those clients are my clients. That's why I'm laughing, because it's actually not as difficult as you think, right?
Yeah.
The way to get in with those clients is through network, right? Yeah. The only thing you need, Reese, trust me on this, the only thing you need is a phone and an email, right? Yeah. So, because the way that it works, you pick up the phone. What's your business name?
Premier Pest Control.
Premier. All right. So you go, the guy from Adina, is it Adina? Yeah. Hey, my name, it's Reese calling. So now you're calling Adina in Melbourne, right? As an example. Yeah. Hey, it's Reese calling from Premier in Sydney. I've been working with Greg from Adina in Parramatta, and what we're doing is we're actually expanding our relationship with people with your group, because what we've done is we've been able to put together a twice annual schedule that actually eliminates the need for you to manage all of your pest control, manage all of the program services. We can actually do all that for you. And how I want to do that is actually just jump on the phone or organize a meeting so I can show you what it looks like. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's super easy, and not easy, but it's super chilled. The higher that you go in business, right? I don't do emotional sales. I don't know how to do them. I'm really shit at it. right? So if I was to do like, give me a rundown of your situation and tell me why you reached out, these sort of sales, that's not what I'm good at. I'm good at doing deals, like really big deals, like these, what you're working with, right?
Yeah.
These people, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice that I hope helps you immediately. And that is, they don't give a shit about quality. Quality is implied. Whatever supplier they choose, it is implied that you have quality.
Yeah.
Right? So from a corporate level and from a corporate strategy, going in with I'm the best in the business in terms of quality is not going to help you. It's not going to help you win the business. It has to be a commercial agreement. So we need to find a way to make you the most commercially viable option for them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So that comes through a proposal, that comes through going and having a meeting with them, having a coffee with them. This, like, we're not going to write big, long-winded emails. If you go onto, I'm assuming we're going to jump on a call. Zyla's going to show you the school platform. The school platform has a video, and I've got all my templates, email templates on what you can use to send out to these people and what to say on the phone. Like, I actually do video tutorials on what to say on the phone.
Yeah.
Right? We've also got a 2-day boot camp where I talk about corporate sales and I show you what to do in corporate sales alone. I don't do any emotional sales. I actually take you through, and I will physically call on your behalf. I will actually make the appointments.
Yeah.
So that one, we only work with 10 business owners at a time, and we prepare your information packs. When you make a phone call and you book a meeting, you've got something to send the prospect. We also do your service agreement. So when you actually sign the deal, you've got an agreement there that is binding and that you've actually got it professionally drawn up with your logo on it, with all your company details on it. And then in the room, we spend 2 days writing your scripts, writing out your emails, making phone calls, and like it's actual boot camp. Like So we didn't talk about that today because we were talking about the strategic side of things, but that is something that we do as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'll get Zyla to get in touch with you about that separately. And then if you want to do a bundle deal with the master, with the SES program and the boot camp, we can do that. It's no problem.
Yeah, I'll just put my number in the chat for Zyla.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, awesome.
Cheers.
Who's next?
Any other questions? Come on, guys, we're here now.
In a similar sense to Reese, removalist, do a lot of local moves, residential stuff, fairly low ticket and dead end leads. People only move every 7 years, so there's not much recurring nature. Wanting to get more into the office side of things, did a bit of project work for a recruitment agency, doing a rollout for their offices based on sort of tenders. And would like to get more into that. Basically just looking at ways to get more money more consistently. And so just considering that office moves more interstate work, it's higher ticket or storage, just sort of trying to figure out what to approach there.
Yeah. It's really good because your traditional B2B and B2C, when we talk about B2B, it's like business owner to business owner, right? But in the general sense. But when we talk about B2B, we're talking about actually getting into corporate businesses to get bulk work. Like going out getting customers is great, but when you're getting them one at a time, especially with what you're doing, Luke, it kind of gets fucking exhausting after a while, yeah? So what we want to do is figure out who are the people that can give us bulk consistent work. And that will create, even if you're doing it at a cheaper rate, if you're getting better rates or a bit of a discount for bulk work, you're locking in work for 1, 2, 3, 5 years, whatever we can negotiate with them, right?
Yeah.
And that creates a baseline for your business. And if you've got 100K a month, 50K a month, whatever it is coming in per month, and you know that you've got that coming in for the next 3 to 5 years, whatever the case may be, then you can build on that with your B2C stuff and really fucking crank the business up. You there, Luke?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Your question around wanting to break into that, are you in that right now, or you haven't got any clients in there at all?
No, we've dabbled in it. Like, we don't really have a way of getting clients, but we've stumbled across some clients in that sense. But yeah, how to get them, I guess it probably is the cold outreach approach that you're sort of talking about. I'm not sure.
The cold outreach, you can make it really, really targeted to make it easier, right? The first thing that I would do is actually go through your client list, right? And again, we go through this in the boot camp. So let's go through your client list and you go through anyone that's used you. I don't care if it's been one removalist job 3 years ago. I don't care, right? you will say that you have worked with that company before, right? Anyone that's got a name, anyone. Right? Anyone that's got a name, credibility, anything, right? So what you would do is you'd look at who has used you and figure out who has more sites out of anyone that's used you. So let's say, give me an example or a name of a business that has used you, a company that's used you in the past that's kind of big.
Max Employment, AKG, Job Finds, which are all recruitment companies, Heyman's Electrical.
Okay. How many sites do they have? Can you tell me that? Like, would you know?
The employment sites, they're probably around 100. I'm not too sure.
Right.
It's
okay.
a lot
So
in terms of sites.
if they've got 100 sites, for example, what you want to do is start going around to you make a list of all of the names of everyone, every single one of their sites, and say, hey, my name's Luke. I'm calling from insert business name here. I have been working and I've been working with your sites in Queensland, New South Wales, Vic, whatever it is. We're actually expanding our relationship with groups like yours, and I'd love the opportunity to have a look at your current arrangement for removalist needs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is that email, call? How are you door to door?
No. So you can do it one of three ways, right? You can do it on LinkedIn, you can do it on email, and you can do it by phone. You're going to be hitting all three at different points anyway. So if you hit them on email, you're going to call them 2 days later. If you hit them on call, you're going to email them 2 days later. If you hit them on LinkedIn, you're going to email. Do you know what I'm saying? They all tie together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you.
Easy. If you want more information about that, I'll get Zyla to reach out to you.
Please.
Awesome. All right. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks very much. Anyone else?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Well,
Awesome.
Luke, thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your patience and your attention, and we'll see you on the next one.